Well, on a beautiful day, Dave White is here with us from New York Sea Grant, and we're on top of this boat that's going to be traveling around upstate New York. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Good to see you today. How are you?
This is a new project for you, this boat right here that has a lot of opportunity and a lot of educational opportunities for folks that will see it around New York, right?
It is. It's very exciting. This is what we're calling the Discover Clean and Safe Boating, and it's going to be going from event to event this summer to educate and share with boaters and non-boaters what equipment do you need to have on board for both good, safe boating and good, clean boating. And we're excited to have our partners with us. The boat we're on is actually manufactured here in New York State. It's a Grumman pontoon boat that the Marathon Boat Group out of Marathon, New York is providing. So we're even on a product that's made right here in New York.
And this is pretty important because it goes along with the mission of New York Sea Grant, right?
It does. It does. It's trying to raise that awareness that as we're utilizing our waterways is to use them in a good, sound way, good stewardship by both boaters and non-boaters alike. So we're just trying to get that message out, and by being at venues this summer with them, we're hoping they'll walk by, they'll see it, and they'll go, oh yeah, there's the PFD I need to get, or there's the other equipment I forgot I have to have on my boat, because it's easy to forget sometimes all the different things you have to have on board. So it's a good refresher for folks as they walk by the boat.
Yeah, and some of those things would be the personal flotation device or the flares. Flares are important.
Absolutely. You know, and a couple things. Obviously, I'm wearing a Type 3 PFD, but having the right kind and the right amount on board in good shape for everybody. Flares, you have to have flares on board, and a lot of folks don't realize flares have an expiration date on them. So check the expiration date to make sure you have valid flares. Fire extinguisher required to have on board. Again, check at the beginning of every season to make sure it's still charged. A fire extinguisher in and of itself can lose its charge over time.
And people need to realize, too, depending on what body of water they are on, there are some other rules and regulations, too. What about going into Canadian waters? Anything that American boaters have to think about?
The one thing I always remind folks, number one, going into Canada, you want to have the correct paperwork, regardless of whether you're going by car over the bridge or by boat. Once you cross that line in the water, if you will, you are in Canadian waters, so you need to make sure everybody on board has the correct paperwork, be it an enhanced driver's license, a passport, or the documentation you need. Also make sure you're meeting all Canadian laws, and what I always remind folks about is in the United States, many people have a flare gun on board their boat for the flare responsibility. A flare gun is considered a weapon in Canada, so if you take a flare gun into Canadian waters, you're violating their laws. So that's where you want to just have handheld flares. So again, checking to make sure you're meeting their rules and regulations, which are right online if you're going to cross that Canadian border.
So this boat here will be seen as it's going to be at maybe a county fair near some people, or it's going to be maybe at the Antique Boat Museum in Clayton, but people are welcome to come on board and check things out.
Absolutely. We'll have all the material there. Everybody that comes along, if they want to sign the Clean and Safe Boating Pledge, will have a chance to spin the prize wheel, and they then will have an opportunity to win one of the prizes, be it a bilge sock, key float, a lunch bag, or a nautical guide right there at with the Clean and Safe Boat.
All right, on a beautiful day, the boat needs to be launched, so we'll let you go. Thanks for joining us. Dave White from New York Sea Grant. We'll be back in a couple of moments.